Traveling is the number one response when you ask people, what do you want to do when you retire? Most people say, I want to travel more, okay? And as much as I think traveling is great, I'm a big fan of traveling myself, and if you want to travel, I would encourage you to travel more. Travel is a response that's elicited out of something I call retirement pornography. What am I trying to say here? If you think about the images and the pictures that are used to sell this concept of retirement, what images do you typically see? You often see images of traveling, right? Somebody sitting on a beach, reading a book, drinking a Corona underneath the umbrella, you know? And it usually has something to do with travel. And because of that, we are sometimes influenced by those societal messages. We're sometimes influenced by retirement pornography, okay? Because here's the reality. Okay? For those of you who want to travel in retirement, how many of you would like to travel 365 days of the year? I mean travel 365 days of the year. You don't get many people. Every now and then I get one person that wants to do that. How about 180 days? Anyone here want to travel 180 days? Yeah? Now, does your idea of traveling 180 days mean having a home in Arizona or somewhere down south? We call them snowbirds, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit, right? See, the thing about snowbirds is they don't really travel 180 days of the year. They really have two homes, is what they do, okay? So when you add up the amount of travel that they actually do, it's not anywhere near 180 days. How about 90 days? Anyone here like to travel 90 days in retirement? Yeah, a couple more takers. 60 days? A few more. 30 days? Ah, there we go. 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week. Does anyone here hate traveling altogether? There you go. There's one, right? So the idea here, statistically, the amount of travel that actually happens in retirement is less than 3 weeks. Okay? So we all have these grandiose dreams and plans about retiring a lot or traveling a lot when we retire, and yet it only takes up 3 weeks of the year. So my question to you is, if all of your retirement plans centered around the 3 weeks of the year that you're going to travel and have fun and do wonderful things, what are you going to do for the other 49 weeks of the year? True successful retirement planning comes not in planning the 3 weeks of the year where you're having a lot of fun. True successful retirement planning comes in understanding what you're going to do the other 49 weeks. I call it planning for your life at home. Okay? So think about this. Many of you have gone on trips. I assume you've all gone on trips. And they're wonderful vacations. And when you get home, no matter how wonderful that vacation is, what's often the one thing you say when you get home? Boy, it's nice to be home. And why is it nice to be home? Home represents security. And home represents security and comfort because we are all, to a certain extent, creatures of habit. And I'm not saying that you're not fun and you're not adventurous and you don't like to do impulsive things from time to time, but the majority of your life is spent doing habitual things, right? It's nice to sleep in your own bed. It's nice to have your closet back instead of living in a suitcase. It's nice to not eat out in restaurants all of the time, because you appreciate restaurants a lot more when you eat at home most of the time and then can go out to a restaurant once in a while. Does that make sense? Right? So the comforts of home give us security. We're all, to a certain extent, creatures of habits. Let me ask you this. How many of you drive to work the same way every single day? How many of you have 250 TV channels and you watch the same 10 most of the time? How many of you have a wardrobe of clothes and you wear the same 20% most of the time? We call them your favorites, your comfy clothes, right? How many of you, when you go out to restaurants, you go to the same restaurants most of the time? And you eat the same items off that menu most of the time? And we understand this because how many of you have gone to a brand new restaurant, first time, you spend all this money and you only find that you're disappointed with your experience? And what do you do next? You go back to your comforts, right? So we're all, to a certain extent, creatures of habits. So what makes you think that in retirement you won't need some habits that give you security, right? How many of you know successful retirees today? People who are happy, happy, happy in retirement. And what makes them happy? Chances are they're busy. And they're busy doing things that they love to do. And they're not traveling 365 days a year, because a lot of the things that they're doing are ordinary things. And I don't mean to use ordinary in a negative tone, because I think ordinary is wonderful. Because what you will do most of the time is ordinary things. What you do now most of the time is ordinary things. So what you need to figure out is, what do you love to do? And don't let society and retirement pornography influence your answer. If you go back and you really think about it and you still come up with the answer travel and that's what you want to do, I'm okay with that. I'm happy with that. Okay? As long as it's not elicited out of something that society has put into your heads. True retirement planning comes from within, the inside out, not outside influencing you. Okay? What makes you tick? What makes you happy? What makes you smile? What gives you that sparkle in your eyes? Does that make sense? Okay? What gives you a reason to wake up every single morning without an alarm clock? How many of you had moments like that, where you were looking so forward to something in your day that you couldn't sleep? Anyone have that? Yeah. Why is that? Because your adrenaline's going. You're excited. You just want to get at it because you're looking so forward to it. That's what retirement should be. How many of you have moments in your life where time flies by? I hope so. Why does it fly by? Because you're having fun. You're having a good time. Time flies when you're having fun. How many of you experience the opposite? Where time can't move fast enough. And why does it move so slow? Because you're bored to death. What you're doing, you're not engaged in. It has no meaning to you. You're not having fun. Hopefully that's not happening now, right? But the idea is, if you want retirement to be the best years of your life, what's it going to take? I would assume that it's about waking up every morning so excited that you don't need an alarm clock because you've planned all the things that you want to do in that day. And time is flying by because you're having so much fun. You're busy, but you're busy because you're doing the things that you love to do. Because I know you all can keep busy just for sake of keeping busy. That's not a problem. But it's better to keep busy doing what you love to do.